Hello, my name is Siva Kumar, and thanks for watching Umoja Shorts, where we deconstruct a complex solution into a simple and understandable form. And today we are going to talk about Knowledge Nugget. Knowledge Nugget, what? What is Knowledge Nugget? A knowledge nugget is a small item or a piece of useful knowledge in categories of interest to the users. And why Knowledge Nugget? Umoja, after cluster 4, we had a lot of data into the system and a lot of information into the system, and unfortunately there were not enough oversight into certain areas of interest. The categories of interest which were lacking some kind of visibility, which has been repeatedly told by the users, are the users and enterprise roles, on the leave requests, the HR processes by and large like PM, OM, PA, PY, and the travel request on the expense side. So the Knowledge Nugget is a sincere effort to address these issues and to give a little bit of an information which we as a super users behind the scene use for ourselves to answer many of the queries originating from you. Let me walk you through the first category of interest, which would be users and the enterprise roles. It is a very simple and understandable for me, but it is a complex to understand if you do not have the proper visibility. Let me explain. And users and enterprise roles are a simple catalog of enterprise role assigned to a set of staff members or non-staff members depending upon the case. And especially when it comes to the HR and the travel solutions, you have what is called a structural authorization, or from the foundation side, it is the control points which control the visibility. So an enterprise role in a combination to an actual data domain provides you the execution capability and also where you can execute those transactions. The next part of the complexity is the determination of the certification officers. When a transaction, for example, travel document is created, the travel document can have an account assignment, such as a cost assignment or based on cost center, fund, internal order, or WBS. In the system, based on the cost center and the fund, which we derive on the basis of the input given on the travel document, and we go into the system, and based on the combinations, cost center fund or fund, cost center or a business area, we determine the recipient who has the delegation of authority established in the Umoja system and send it to them for either certification or approval. If it is not found, it will be going to the workflow administrator, and the workflow administrator is a person who does not have the authority to approve but just can collect the document, and eventually on correction of the proper mapping, he will be responsible for getting the data back to the respective the agents who have the right delegation of authority configured in the system. The knowledge nugget, the first knowledge nugget we are going to introduce is user map. The user map is the knowledge nugget where we are going to find your team's mapping in real time. The second category of interest is the leave process. The leave process, which is very simple when it comes to a massive ERP implementation, but it can get real messy if you do not have the proper visibility of who is administering and who is approving the leave request. The leave request can be created in Umoja either by the staff member based on their employee self-service or by the time administrator as a on-behalf service. A time administrator, in the sense, it could be a time administrator or a senior time administrator. So when the leave request is created, the leave request is either routed to the time manager if it is a single step simple annual leave request, or it goes to the HR partner if it is related to anything on a special leave request like a jury duty or a maternity leave, or in some cases it goes to both the places. And there are certain areas in which the travel request of a sick leave more than 20 days might be going to the medical services using the EarthMed and comes back to the time manager and the staff member, but it is out of scope right now here. The plumbing of the leave request creation and routing is what is a little confusing to the end users. A staff member who has been linked to a position, who is sitting on a position, is linked to an organizational unit. An HR partner who has an enterprise role, either through an entity or through a shared service center, is managing a specific odd unit. And the time manager and the time administrator, through an enterprise role and an assignment of their structural authorization to a department, has the control over a specific part of the organizational unit. So these plumbing, if they are done correctly, the staff member, the leave request will get routed to the proper manager or to the proper HR partner. To get this visibility, the next one we are going to introduce is the knowledge nugget called list time. This is for finding your time request and the status in real time. The next category of interest is the travel process. Travel process is a little complicated process just because it involves multiple steps and multiple approvals within the process. To give an example, on a plain page, an entitlement travel starts with a leave request, which is outside the travel module, and a trip request is created, routed to the HR partner for approval, and then routed to the travel and shipping TSA, which is the travel and shipment approver, who is the certification, and then it goes to the actual TPO for tickets if that option is chosen. And also there is a possibility of a shipment request, and which can be routed to a shipment unit for approval and processes. When you talk about the official travel, it has an expense report associated with that, in which the expense certification, if it is not an express expense, it will go to the certification, and it can also be routed to the TPO for one more certification if the staff member has a self-purchase ticket or non-UN pay tickets. And then if any expense report which is routed to the certification or the approval process will be routed to the travel claims processor for subsequent clearing and payment or retrieval of funds from the staff member in case of overpayment. The complexity is the travel solution resides with multiple enterprise roles. You are involving the staff in case of employee self-service, travel administrators, HR partners, and you have the certification officer, approving officer, who is the travel processing officer, a shipment processing officer, and a travel claims processor. And also a bunch of non-transactional components and a bunch of non-travel components are also involved. And as we see in the rightmost corner, you have a set of interfaces which also kinds of deals with that. To give the visibility, we are introducing a knowledge nugget called list travel, and where you can find your travel request status in real time. Again, travel request has two parts: the travel request approval and also followed by the travel claims process. In Umoja, the travel is interwoven into one single thread. Next category of interest is the OM HR PY processes. I call it as a HR processes. The HR processes, including the PY OM, can be established by this whole pie diagram, where the HR process starts with the hiring and pre-boarding. You have onboarding, employee engagement, outplaced entitlements and movements, and separate and manage. All these components can be done in Umoja in two ways. One is through the employee self-service or the administrator service, where the request is created and it is approved by the respective HR partners, or it can be done in the by the HR partner as a recording directly into the system. So the current knowledge nugget, which we are going to be introducing, is only for the portal at this moment, and eventually we will be giving you a nugget for the entire process as well. The knowledge nugget which is going to be used here is the list process, where you can find your HR request status in real time. And that's the set of knowledge nugget, and I hope this is informative, and keep watching this channel for more information. Thank you.